So first up is our friend Daniel Charnigo. Hi, friend. And I have no idea what a biosignal is, so Daniel's going to share a little bit about that with us. Let's welcome Daniel to the stage.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. I am going to talk about sleep, brains, and data, and building systems that improve lives. I never saw myself here 20 years ago when I started developing, but we're here and my team's here, and we're doing some really cool things, and I have a lot to talk about. So, motivation, that color doesn't show up well. I work for Beacon Biosignals, and we're driving scientific discovery. This is our motivation. It's a universal window into disease, especially CNS, central nervous systems. So here's some quick definitions, because I'll mention these. We have EEG, the measure of brain activity, PSG, the gold standard for the sleep study, OSA, obstructive sleep apnea. Some people might wear CPAP in here. I do. CNS, the brain and spinal cord, and SYNGAP1 are rare genetic brain disorders. So why sleep, EEG, PSG, OSA matter? Sleep, my slides aren't changing. Sleep is structured and measurable. EEG reflects brain network health. OSA creates high volume data. And what all this data does is it gives us insight into some of these diseases. And I'm going to skip. I really wanted to mention SYNGAP1, but we don't have enough time for this. So where developers come in, there's several areas I wanted to focus on. You can see on this slide, and none of this stuff works without secure software, reliable data pipelines, and then hardware and AI and ML. We're using all of that. Regulations and security. These are some of the standards that we have to code against and produce hardware against. So there are a lot of them up here. I'm sure there's a lot of people talking about these during this week, but these are some of the certifications that we have at our company. We're HIPAA compliant, SOC 2, ISO 13485, which is a medical device certification. And that's really what I want to focus on. So we have two different devices. We have a waveband, which is this funny looking headband thing I have, and I encourage everyone to come see me after I have these. This is a dry electrode EEG that we have a patent on at our company. So you can put this on and it actually reads your brain waves, and we can watch them on an app in theory. And then the second device is a home sleep test. We call it the Nova Sleep. This is a prototype I have right here. And what's cool about these devices and the Nova Sleep doesn't have all the accessories on it, by the way, but it can monitor oxygen, heart rate, your chest moving in and out. There's a couple other channels on it. But what's cool about this, and what I get excited about, is we make these devices right here. Nova Sleep is made here in Ohio. One of our engineers is over there that actually assembles these. We do everything from the circuit design to designing the case and having these injection molds done, and then putting these together. The waveband is newer, and it's assembled out of Boston. But we developed the firmware, the hardware, everything. So we don't buy any of that. Oops, I went backwards. So that's kind of cool. You can come and try these devices, and I can give you more information after. And then for these devices, we do the software. So there's some pictures of our software up here. We have on the right, we have the phone app. I have a sample report that we generate. This is called a sleep staging report. So the histogram down middle bottom-ish area actually shows your stages of sleep throughout the night, and if you're going into deep sleep, light sleep. And then software on the left is showing the actual raw data, the waveforms. And actually, my wife's here tonight, and she's a polysomnographic technologist, so she can explain what that stuff is. I cannot. And I forgot to say that on my first slide. I am not a doctor, so if you look at these slides later, make sure you do your own research. I do work with doctors, though, so I think they make sure that I didn't see anything completely inaccurate. For our software development, we're using AI, ML, cloud. We're in AWS. We're in Azure. We use SQL servers. We use anything from React, .NET, Julia. All of these things we combine into this platform to analyze data. And the whole goal of this is to get better measurements, and then we get better outcomes for patients and for research studies. We have petabytes of brain data that we're using to analyze, that we're using to help manufacturers, drug manufacturers, to help try and solve some of these brain problems. And I skipped over it. I have a few seconds left, but SYNGAP1, I talked to a person whose child had one of these diseases, and it's devastating to the family. And our goal is that these simple devices that are relatively cheap can provide some relief and maybe cures in the future for these families. Thank you, everyone.